Welcome back, Soulful Society, to Soulful of Wellness,
the multi-generational podcast brought to you by two functional imperfectionists
and certified coaches
who deliver tips to live your most authentic, balanced, and anxiety-free life.
Today, we're talking about scarcity mentality versus an abundance mindset. Stephen Covey initially coined these terms in his best-selling book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And we're digging into how we can let go of making fear-based decisions and instead learn how to live our juiciest life with an abundance mindset.
We'll talk about what scarcity mindset is, how you can identify if you're living in it, and of course, we're going to dive into abundance mindset, how you can adopt it, and why living in abundance will change your life for the better.
Fabulous news, Soulful Society. We've re-upped our gratitude giveaway for April. So this is your last chance to win a free year-long subscription to the Calm app. Thank you to our longtime listener, Kenny, for sponsoring this fabulous giveaway.
All you have to do to win is leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iTunes by the end of the month. Just like Kayla Faye did last Friday. Thank you, Kayla Faye, for the 5 stars and for writing such amazing and insightful content. Sparkle emoji, smiley blushy face emoji. Thank you, Kayla Faye.
We love you, Kayla Faye. If you've already kindly left us a review in the past, just get a friend to leave us a review and DM us a screenshot of it. Happy reviewing.
Getting into the heart of the matter, today's topic. Let's start by getting clear on some important terminology that we'll be using throughout the episode. First, scarcity mindset.
Mm-hmm.
This refers to people seeing life as a finite pie. So basically, anytime someone takes a big old hunk of that pie, that leaves less for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
A scarcity mentality is going to keep us from achieving our goals.
For sure.
On the flip side, abundance mindset. This refers to the paradigm shift to thinking that there's plenty out there for everybody. Lest you think this is pie in the sky thinking. Ooh, back to the pie. There's quantitative research to back this up. We'll reference specific studies throughout today's episode.
Perfect. So before we dive into the juicy parts of today's topic, obviously how we can start to live a more abundant life and tame our anxiety gremlins, let's dive in for a second, kid, about scarcity mindset and how it can really impact our lives. I mean, you yourself are just mentioning that this is something that may be coming up for you.
Right. I'm seeing a pattern in my decision making and basically in my underlying motivations that sway decisions throughout the course of my life that I don't stand by anymore. I won't go so far as to say I regret, because that's really strong, but I'm starting to see this pattern of basically me missing out on events, on fun things that to me I perceived as involving taking a risk. But I'm realizing what I was thinking was a risk maybe really wasn't a risk. Maybe it was just a fear-based decision. And that fear was rooted in some deep-seated beliefs in scarcity, in the belief that there simply isn't enough to go around. And if I use it up now, I won't have it for later. Whatever it is in the given situation.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for sharing, my darling. I did not mean to throw you under the bus there by unveiling how this week's topic came about. But we all do. We all feel this and operate from this sense of scarcity mindset because, like we were talking about earlier, society kind of puts this tacit umbrella of there is a finite amount of spots. There's only one first place winner. There's only a certain amount of spots the admissions department at the college you want is going to accept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, growing up in sports, a lot of kids play sports and you're taught that you either win or you lose. You're either the winner or the loser.
Right. As I was thinking back further and further, I was thinking, like, where did this belief system first come onto my consciousness? I thought back, early days of school. Everybody wanted to be the line leader, but only one person can be the line leader. But if you think about it, even that doesn't stand true because there are X number of weeks in the school year, however many it is, it's more than there are students in a class, which goes back to, if you frame it from an abundance mindset, there's plenty of weeks for each person to get their week as line leader.
Nobody wants the caboose, okay?
No, I know. It was like the consolation prize. Like,
Right.
oh, I get a special named spot, and it's last by another name.
It's so funny that you brought up that example because I just told this story the other day. I'm like, oh, kindergarten, when you have your laminated train on the track on the wall, and if you do something bad, your train gets taken off the track. And it was like the scariest thing in the world in kindergarten to have your train off the track.
Oh my God, your behavior derailed you?
Yes.
That's pretty bad. Wow. That's like a public shaming. I doubt they can do that anymore.
Yeah, no, she also like grabbed our arms a lot, which, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think a lot has changed since 1999. Just a little bit.
So then thinking back through other scenarios where it wasn't presented necessarily as a competition per se, because I mean, let's face it, if you're playing tennis, yes, we can't deny it. There's a winner and there's a loser. On the other hand, there's endless tennis games to be played in your life, and there is plenty of time to be the winner, but I get ahead of myself here. Let's say you're applying to colleges and you have your number one college and you're calculating how many students are going to get accepted into next year's incoming freshman class. Anytime you hear of someone getting into your school, you're freaking out a little bit more inside and thinking, that's one less spot for me. All of these chances in life where there was a finite amount and they got filled ingrains in you very deeply that there's a lack in all areas.
Mm-hmm.
There's never going to be enough of everything. So you've got to scramble and you've got to be competitive and you can't wish well for others
Right.
because if they get, then that's less for you in some cosmic sense.
Right. Or it's like, well, you had your chance type thing. And it's like that couldn't be farther from the truth.
No.
The universe is abundant. It is a fundamental law of the universe. There are energetic laws that exist around us, like the law of abundance, the law of attraction, like all of these wonderful invisible things that impact our lives so intensely.
Yeah, these energies at play behind the curtain.
Right.
So just because we're not privy to the inner workings doesn't mean it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean there isn't some larger structure at play, something that absolutely makes sense just because we don't understand all the details of how.
Mm-hmm. Energy is invisible. And if we can vibrate at the highest frequency possible, most of the time, we're going to start living in that vibration, that high vibrational living.
So basically, the point of saying all of this is that we understand why so many of us continue to operate from a place of scarcity thinking, from this lack mindset, even when we believe better, we believe more. I absolutely have embraced living from an abundance mindset, but old habits die hard. And I still find my default decision-making criteria to come from this fear-based lack place. I'll make it more concrete for you. A friend offered a trip to Italy. She was saying, all you have to do is get your plane ticket. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to do that. But if I take off work, yes, I have the days, but do I want to use them? Because if I use them, then I don't have them. And yes, I have the money, but if I spend all that money on just a few days, like think of all the fun I could purchase with that same money spread out over more time. What I noticed is this is how I make these decisions. I have the resources, but I still don't seize on these opportunities because I'm afraid that if I do, then I won't have. Then what happens? Did I jinx myself? Did I bring this on myself? I shouldn't have spent it when I had it. I should have saved it. But why? For what? I'm missing out on opportunities. I'm missing out, quite frankly, on life, on what's to come if I seize on these opportunities and leave the comfort zone of my little box and go out into the world and explore. Once again, some people might be listening to me thinking, honey, that's not really taking a risk. But to me, it feels scary. To me, it feels like a risk to blow all that time and money, even though I know it's going to be fun. I can't make it make sense because it doesn't even make sense to me. It just is, unfortunately, real to me.
So at the time, little did you know you were operating from a fear-based mindset, sort of doing all this cost-benefit analysis, not even leaving room to be excited for this possibility and this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like now, after making that repeated decision, it sounds like you're reflecting a little bit on, maybe there were opportunities that would have been worth it. Maybe I want to change my tune a little bit and try some new things and operate from a different mindset.
That's exactly what I've been reflecting on. I started thinking back on some of the really just most absolutely fun times of my life. The times that if I could, I would live that week over again or those 4 days over again. And they were all these impromptu, out of the box, not part of my daily life things that I actually had the courage to say yes to, despite my inclination to say no and be conservative. But in those moments where, for whatever set of circumstances, I felt powerful enough to be open to the possibilities and I did them, and I was so much better for it. The experiences were so much richer than what went into them that it was worth all that they cost, in air quotes, because I don't just mean financial, and then some. So why, if I know that, am I not always able to make decisions from this abundance mindset, from this, I'll open myself up and I know even more will come? I still get really scared and small, and I get smaller because I think, no, cling.
It sounds like you're starting to force yourself and help yourself grow out of that small feeling, that sort of fear,
Yes.
the fear-based operating. I'm not sure. And like your awareness is starting to shine a light on it. Almost like, I'm trying to think of like a metaphor or analogy that's not gross. Okay, shining a light. When you shine a light on a bug, it'll like skedaddle away or whatever.
Yeah, like when you turn the lights on and the roaches all that's
Ew,
typical city
that's what I
dwelling.
was thinking of. I don't know why it's so gross, but I was thinking about you shining a light on that fear-based decision-making and mindset, and scarcity mindset is almost like making the light particles scatter, and shining a light on it is making you aware to be able to change it.
Yeah, that has to dissolve away, fracture away.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that's basically what we wanted to share with listeners today, so that you can learn from my experience, hopefully not have to spend 5 decades making decisions from a fear-based place.
Oh, you're being hard on yourself.
I am, but with a little bit of justification.
No, we need some love in there too.
Okay.
So basically, essentially, to boil it down to it, with that scarcity mindset, like we've mentioned multiple times, you're living from a fear-based operating system.
Yes.
So with that, with those decisions, what we tend to do as humans, our brains love to connect dots, make up stories. Our brain then starts to rationalize this decision-making. Well, it'll save me more money. Well, I won't be exhausted or hungover. Well, and the list goes on and on and on. But we need to recognize when we're starting to exhibit this behavior as sort of a habit.
With those justifications that you just said are so important, because they masquerade as responsibility, but they're actually just constraints. They're just ropes holding you back.
Definitely.
But they say, no, I'm being responsible. I'm being financially responsible, or I'm being mature, or I'm doing the adult thing.
But how often are you betraying yourself? How often are you kind of putting your desires and wants to the side? And with that, we need to pivot to a healthy sense of entitlement. I feel I hear the word entitlement, I think negative, but it's everything is on a spectrum, right? So if you have this healthy sense of, I am worthy of that trip to Rome.
Yes.
I am worthy of this quality time with my best friend. I am worthy. I am worthy. I'm worthy. Then we can begin to shift the belief and then shift the habit and the behavior. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do.
We came up with 7 things that we've been integrating. We have clients who've been integrating these into their day-to-day lives to make progress in unearthing sometimes decades, but at least years, if not decades worth of ingrained scarcity mindset to just break free of the chains that come with that, to begin to live more and more and make decisions increasingly from this abundance mindset place.
Okay, Kit, which one of us do you think will have a better accent to say this Buddha quote? Like a good sounding, like I'm almost thinking about Mufasa, because we're about to.
Okay, that's really easy. I'm going to go with not
What?
me.
Okay.
I don't do accents at all.
All right, I'll try it.
At all.
The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Buddha.
Very good. And we promise some science to back up what we're saying. So it's not just, oh, Kit and Kaylin think this. So I'm going to sprinkle a little in here. A study done by some researchers at Yale and Miami University, done on middle-aged adults, revealed that those with more positive beliefs around aging lived 7.5 years longer than those with less positive self-perceptions of aging. A healthy mindset can indeed prolong your life.
Right. So you're looking at things through a lens of gratitude for your current state of being, for your current circumstances, for your current life. You're looking at things under a gratitude perspective, which is linked with abundance, right? There's enough for everyone, and I love my life, and I also want this too, but I'm worthy of it.
Gratitude for what you have, gratitude for what you are, for the knowledge you've acquired, for the experiences you've had, but also gratitude for what simply exists. I had another study, and I love this one. Many listeners have probably heard of Carol Dweck, Stanford psychologist, written many books that we've referenced occasionally in other podcasts. She examined the mindsets of young students. She found that children who have a growth mindset and believe that intelligence can be developed are better able to overcome academic challenges than those who have a fixed mindset and believe that intelligence is predetermined and therefore finite. I love this one because it speaks to an important component of living from a place of abundance, which is a willingness to make wonderful things happen for yourself. Yes, you can, here's my air quotes again, manifest what you desire, but it's so important to note that manifesting is so different than a fairy godmother who magically grants you wishes so that all your dreams instantly come true.
I hate to break it to you. She was a funny character in Shrek, but she's not real. There is no one who is going to come wave the wand.
Yeah. All right, so we've already talked about our step 1. We didn't name it as we were saying it, but it's identify your own negative thought loops, your patterns, where the scarcity mindset is in your life, where that voice crops up in your decision-making and impacts the choices you make in life.
Step 1 in anything is awareness.
Yeah.
Number 2, acknowledge your worthiness of good things. So just as much as we want to keep an eye out for the negative thought patterns, acknowledging your worth is key. We need to remind ourselves and be our own cheerleader sometimes. Like, you are worthy, whether we have to say it in the mirror.
Make it your mantra.
You guys, I like this mantra. This may be my my mantra for May, my sticky note mantra.
You are worthy.
Love it.
Number 3. It involves making a perspective shift. This also could be a mantra. The universe is abundant.
Ooh, love that.
There is enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around. There is plenty.
Yeah, there's more than plenty. It's plentiful and then some. The universe has no finiteness of anything.
No.
So expansive. And that's why, like, it's the opposite of the fear-based operating system. It's so expansive and trusting and just acknowledging of the endlessness.
Number 4, we really already talked about this, but so that we name them as we say it, cultivate an attitude of gratitude.
It's the recipe for anything and everything that has to do with raising your vibration.
Growth.
Yeah. Number 5, identify what abundance means to you. What will living an abundance mindset do for your life? I love this. This is even a good journal prompt, a good journal prompt for you to write
Great
down.
question.
What does abundance mean to me, and what will an abundant mindset do for me? This is just an ode to the fact that you're the conscious creator of your life. Sure, of course, external forces, circumstances, situations happen to us, but it's really all about how we respond to it. So if we can operate from a sense of empowerment and acknowledge that, we can change our outlook, our energy, and our response to things, it really allows for us to then live in that mindset.
Number 6, train your mind to recognize the possibilities.
Ooh, yes.
All right. Have you ever seen the basketball gorilla on YouTube?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen that in psychology class. The people dressed up in the costumes.
Yes.
And you have to, okay, yep.
In fact,
okay,
I
do.
think they showed it to us at Georgetown at one point, and they say, count the passes by the people in the white t-shirts. And you're so focused on just because there's also people in black t-shirts passing, but you're busy ignoring them. And then in walks the gorilla. Not to give it away, spoiler, sorry. All right, an abundance mindset allows you to see more in your life, more options, more choices, and more resources.
Right.
Harvard did this well-known study where they basically determined that people who hyper-focus on one thing literally fail to see the other possibilities right in front of their faces.
I feel like I'm getting a sense of like an ice popsicle. You're just frozen where you're at, and your rigidity is not going to allow for the opportunities to come your way. Because if you're not open and aware.
Yeah, it's classic. The horse with the blinders. The brain can only absorb so much. So if your belief is, I can't do it, or it's impossible, then any other thoughts contradicting that, you don't even see them. You're not even aware that they're there because you're so focused on the constraint part of it.
Mm-hmm. The goal is too rigid.
Right.
We need a little bit of flexibility for sure to manifest.
So start training your mind to loosen its focus and create an expanded awareness. Ask yourself, if you had all the time and all the money in the world and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be doing? Questions like that will help to open your mind to what's possible.
There is enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around, and you are just as worthy as the next person. You deserve it. You're worthy, and there's plenty to go around. Believing in that, believing you're worthy, and understanding that the more we're open, the more we can trust, let go a little bit, and be grateful. Plenty of good to come our way. And so I just think that keeping a close eye out for our emotions can be really good indicators. If you're feeling a little bit jealous or bitter or resentful about something, it's a good thing to take a look at that, because that's just telling you something about your desires and your beliefs.
What's behind that?
What's behind the curtain? What is Oz saying? It really is, though. It's like I'm picturing a flow chart, and it's almost like feeling is, let's say, jealousy. And then it's like the arrow goes to, I feel jealous because I want that body or whatever. And like then the underlying belief would be there's not enough to go around. I'm not worthy of a hot body. Yeah.
Right. There was only one of that body and that person got it. So I'll never get it. I'll never get a body I like or that I want because that person got it. Like, no.
So then the reverse of it for abundance mindset would be, I'm feeling jealous of this person. Hey, let me identify, well, why would I be feeling jealous of this person? Oh, okay. Let me reverse this for a second. Let me flip this on its head. All right, I notice I'm feeling jealous. Oh, that just means that I have a burning desire within me to have a whatever hot body. Hot is obviously subjective. The body of my dreams, like whatever that may be. Switch it to, I'm excited for that person. I'm happy for them because I know I'm going to be happy for myself when I have that healthy body, most ideal, whatever.
I will even raise you a gratitude. And I have gratitude for that person for raising this new awareness in me of that priority and goal I now set for myself.
And then you say your mantra, which is, the universe is abundant. There's more than enough to go around. Yes. And start believing that that is already yours. Yes. Tune into the gratitude.
Believe in yourself, listeners. We believe in you. Ultimately, just remember, what you believe is what you receive.
Thank you for listening, tuning in, subscribing, and leaving us reviews. We so appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Now go out there and get what you want.
Peace, love, and light.
Peace, love, and light.
The Soulful of Wellness hosts are certified health and wellness coaches. This podcast is intended to inform and entertain listeners on their wellness journey. This podcast is meant to enhance, not replace, listeners' care from doctors, therapists, or other medical providers.